We came in 1971 to Kuala Lumpur, and luckily all 5 of our children were taken by ISKL, and it was a wonderful experience, I think, for all of us. For me, to have them go off to school for half a day was quite nice. And we drove back and forth without any complications, and I think all 5 of them were very, very comfortable at, though it was a new school, very different from Waterville, Maine. And we had a first grader, Tony, who enjoyed his teacher and enjoyed his classmates and raced through whatever, that they all seemed to race through the mathematics in a great way as far as they were concerned. And then a 4th grader, Emily, and a 5th grader, Sarah. And Susan was in 8th grade, and Georgia was a sophomore. So that was so I had a nice range, obviously, of what's going on in the ISKL, and it was quite nice with wonderful teachers, obviously, who worked very hard at understanding each and every child in the class. Is there any other particular kind of things that?
Well, just comparing being a parent back you're from the States?
Yes, that's right.
Just going to school in the States and then sending your kids to an international school halfway across the world.
It was quite nice and quite comfortable. Obviously, they were not going to walk to school, and I was going to drive them, and which side of the road to drive them on was a little bit of an issue for a while. It scared us silly for a while, but we never had anything dramatic happen that way. And it seemed to me that they were taken in very nicely by the teachers and by at least some of the children. It took me a while to realize that after school, which obviously was when the 12 noon limitations was on the schools, that we had to do something else. It took me a while to figure out that the lake club and swimming would be a wonderful variation from what was going on at the school. But the athletics, it seemed to me, were very nice, particularly for Georgia and Tony, perhaps less so for the 3rd and 4th grade, the 4th and 5th grade daughters, possibly. But I think they all enjoyed it, including the fried rice, which they'd never seen before, and they gulped down very happily. So all was quite well there. I think a couple of times I substituted for teachers who possibly couldn't come in because they were ill or something like that. And I was not a dramatic success. But nobody died and nobody left the class. So there was it was not any anguish there. They probably had more of a free time with me than they did otherwise. But it was fun. It was fun. And the whole place was kind of cheery and supportive, I will say. And I presume the current larger school is, but that was a very, very kind and generous school, and the atmosphere was marvelous as far as I was concerned. I was very happy to be there and happy to lead them there.
Great. Do you want to talk maybe a bit about the overall community, including the parents too?
Well, I didn't see any other parents, and I didn't know any other parents, and didn't know anybody else living in Jill and Becca, so that was rather thin in a way until I figured out some things about the place and what was going on. But that was all right. I think that after I dropped them off at school, which is very nice, I was able to go down to the YWCA, and that really was the Chinese YWCA in Kuala Lumpur, and do some exercising there, and met some nice women there, some nice Chinese women who took me to lunch, and we went to various lunches with them after all the exercise. So that was the only connection that I really made.
Great. Do you want to talk at all about adjusting to returning to the States?
Well, yes. Unfortunately, the 2 years that we were hoping for did not happen. My husband was in Saigon, and that became obviously a very difficult place for him to be, particularly after the person that he was working with in the National Institute of Administration was blown up, and it was quite possible that he might be also. So that looked like a better time to leave, and therefore he left Saigon, and we all went then to Paris for a semester of school for the children, and interesting research for him. And then we were back home with the snow and all the cold in January the next year. So we were obviously very sorry to leave here. We were also sorry to leave. We thought for a while we would leave the dog and the cat, but we were able to take both of them with us as well. So we had 7, so to speak. The dog and the cat did not go to school, however, but they stayed at home. But they behaved very well. I think that's probably, and we enjoyed every moment of being here, and being at the school was a great pleasure. And I never understood, thankfully, what the limitations were and why there were limitations. I vaguely came to understand there had been a war before, and there were details that were not very happy for people. But obviously it was far away from anything that I understood, so I never worried about it. And everybody made me feel very comfortable at the ISKL.